Most people will never understand why they are constantly ignored, why they get talked over, why their words don't carry weight, why no one seems to take them seriously, no matter how smart, kind, or capable they are. And the worst part is, they think it's because they're not confident enough. But that's not true. Confidence doesn't create respect. Presence does. There are people who can say almost nothing, yet everyone in the room adjusts around them. No raised voice, no threats, no explanations, just presence. And once you understand what creates that presence, you'll never unsee it again. From that moment on, you'll start noticing how quickly people reveal their position the moment you stop reacting the way they expect. Here's something uncomfortable most people don't want to admit. Humans don't respect kindness by default. They respect emotional stability. They respect the person who doesn't flinch, who doesn't rush, who doesn't feel the need to prove anything. Your brain is constantly scanning others for signs of weakness. Not consciously. Instinctively, is this person reactive? Are they predictable? Can they be emotionally pushed? And within seconds, your mind makes a decision. That's why some people get interrupted constantly, while others can sit in silence and still control the energy in the room. The difference isn't intelligence. It isn't status. It isn't even confidence. It's how safe it feels to disrespect them. If someone feels easy to read, easy to provoke, easy to influence, your mind labels them as low risk. But when someone is calm under pressure, when their emotions arrive late, when they don't rush to fill silence, your mind slows down. It becomes cautious, and caution is the beginning of respect. Most people destroy this effect without realizing it. They explain too much. They smile when they're uncomfortable. They react instantly. They chase clarity instead of letting others sit in uncertainty, but uncertainty is where power lives. When people don't know what you're thinking, they start thinking more about you. They replay conversations. They analyze your reactions. They wonder if they said too much. And the moment someone starts thinking about you after the interaction is over, you already have influence. In the next minutes, you're going to understand why silence feels threatening, why calm people feel dangerous, and how small changes in your behavior can completely flip how others treat you. Once you see this pattern, you won't be able to ignore it. And more importantly, you won't be able to go back to being invisible. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that being understood is more important than being respected. So they explain, they justify, they soften their words. They try to make sure no one feels uncomfortable. But every extra explanation sends a signal. It says, I need you to agree with me. I need you to understand. I need validation. And the human brain picks up on that instantly. Respect is not built by convincing people. It's built when you look like you'd be fine, even if they don't agree. This is why calm disagreement feels stronger than emotional certainty. Have you ever noticed how powerful a simple pause can be? Someone challenges you, and instead of responding immediately, you stay silent for just a second longer than expected. Not awkward, not frozen, just still. That pause does something interesting. The other person starts feeling exposed. They begin to question their own position. They fill the silence with words. And suddenly, you're not the one defending yourself anymore. Most people rush to respond because silence feels dangerous to them. But silence only feels dangerous when you're unsure of yourself. When you're grounded, silence becomes a weapon. Not an aggressive one, a psychological one. Because it forces others to reveal more than they planned. Another thing people misunderstand is eye contact. They think strong eye contact means staring, trying to dominate, trying to win. That's not power, that's tension. Real presence is relaxed eye contact. You look at someone as if you have time. No rush, no pressure, no need to look away. And when you do look away, you do it slowly. Fast movements signal nervousness. Controlled movements signal confidence. Your body speaks before your words do. That's why people trust calm body language more than passionate speech. Your nervous system is communicating constantly. When you're emotionally regulated, others subconsciously sync to you. Their voice lowers. Their posture changes. Their behavior adjusts, and they don't even realize why. This is why emotionally stable people often become leaders without trying. Not because they want control, but because others feel safer around them. Safety creates authority, and authority creates influence. Now here's something most people never consider. Respect isn't about being liked. In fact, chasing likability often makes respect impossible. When you're too agreeable, people stop taking your boundaries seriously. When you're always available, your time loses value. When you react emotionally to everything, your presence loses weight. But when you're selective with your energy, people start paying attention. When you don't react to provocation, people stop provoking. When you don't explain yourself to everyone, people start assuming you know something they don't. Assumption is powerful. The human brain fills gaps with meaning. And usually, it fills them with authority. This is why mysterious people are often perceived as more intelligent, more capable, more dangerous. But because they don't give their inner world away easily. You don't need to talk less. You need to reveal less. There's a difference. Speak when you have something to say. Stop when the point is made. Don't add extra words to make people comfortable. Comfort weakens impact. Tension creates attention, and attention creates respect. Another subtle shift is how you respond emotionally. Most people mirror the emotions around them. They absorb the energy of the room. But grounded people do the opposite. They stay emotionally neutral, even when others are reactive. And that neutrality unsettles people. Not in a bad way. In a revealing way. Because emotional neutrality removes the game. No reaction to manipulate. No emotion to exploit. Just presence, and presence is difficult to challenge. Over time, people learn how to treat you. They test boundaries. They push buttons. If you react, they push more. If you stay calm, they stop. Because humans instinctively avoid emotional resistance. This is how quiet authority is built. Not overnight, not through dominance, but through consistency. The way you sit, the way you move, the way you pause, the way you respond or don't. All of it trains others how to interact with you. And once that pattern is set, it's very hard to break. At some point you'll notice something change. People will stop interrupting you. They'll start asking instead of assuming. They'll explain themselves more carefully around you. And you won't have done anything dramatic. No confrontation. No power plays. No manipulation. Just consistency. This is where most people get confused. They think respect comes from one big moment. A bold move. A strong statement. A public win. But real respect is built quietly, through dozens of small interactions where you don't break your frame. Frame is how you see yourself, and how stable that image remains when pressure appears. If your frame collapses under disagreement, others sense it. If your frame stays intact, others adjust. Here's an example most people overlook. Someone criticizes you. Not aggressively. Just enough to test you. Most people rush to defend themselves. They explain context. They clarify intentions. They try to fix the misunderstanding. But that response already accepts the frame that you owe them an explanation. A grounded response is different. You acknowledge without absorbing. You listen without reacting. You respond without urgency. Sometimes you don't respond at all. And that moment lingers. Because the other person expected friction or emotion or resistance. Instead, they met calm. And calm makes people question themselves. Another powerful shift happens when you stop narrating your intentions. You don't say you're confident. You don't say you're busy. You don't say you're unbothered. You let people notice. Words try to control perception. Behavior creates it. This is why silence often communicates more than speech. When you don't defend your value, people start assuming it exists. When you don't chase attention, people start offering it. When you don't rush to prove yourself, People start testing you less because the brain respects what feels solid. Think about how people react to someone who stays calm during chaos.